Okay, so my name's Caitlin.
I'm Nina.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Sadie.
And our topic is gamification. So, just some questions to start. Has anyone ever had an experience in the past where your teacher played a game in the classroom? Okay, does anyone want to share an example of that with the class? Yeah. What did you say? Taboo? Okay, do you want to expand on that and tell us what that is and, what you guys did?
Like, what subject did you use it?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Like press a button and answer a question? Okay. Gotcha. Okay. What about anyone else? Did anyone else have a game experience in their school? Jeopardy? Okay, yeah, and that's definitely a popular one. What'd you say? Poker, okay. Very cool. In math class? Huh? Heads up, 7 up. Yeah, that one's a popular one too. So did playing those games, did that help you learn something? Or I think a lot of those games were probably used to review content. Did that help anyone learn the content or remember it better? What do you guys think? Give me a thumbs up if you think so, thumbs down if you're like, no, that didn't really help me. I made you more competitive.
But were you engaged?
Yeah.
You were, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And then just some questions I want you guys to think about. What do you think gamification means? And what technology tools do you think you can use in the classroom to help students learn? But let's go ahead and move on. These are just our objectives. We're going to learn what gamification is and learn how to create experiences using gamification to engage your students. Okay, so if you guys want to go ahead and take the pre-assessment.
All right, if you just go on to D2L and go down to Team 7, we have our pre-assessment quiz that you can take for us. And when you're done with that, just give us a thumbs up.
Yes. This is important information.
I have no idea. Okay. It's fine. You'll be alright. Just go with the flow. Okay. Just follow it and see what happens.
I tried to type it out earlier and it kept correcting it.
Is everybody finding the forms fine? Yeah, no problems? Okay.
Because if you have problems, let us know. Well, we know where it is. We'll help you find it. And if anyone's finished, go ahead and give us a thumbs up so we can just see who has completed it. Okay. Just got a couple more. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead and move on. So, I'm going to talk about what gamification is. So the definition on the board here says gamification is the process of taking something that already exists, for example, Kahoot, which is what we're going to talk about today, and integrating game mechanics into it to motivate participation, engagement, and loyalty. So basically, to kind of summarize that, gamification is using game experiences in the classroom to keep students motivated. So some examples of that are technology products like Kahoot or Class Dojo is another one that helps keep points. But then there's also ones that you can do without technology, like Jeopardy. That is a really great example of gamification in the classroom. Or also just I know one of the things that I noticed whenever I was researching it was experience points in the classroom. A lot of teachers will have students gain points by doing certain things like being ready at their desk and having things ready to go, or showing up to class on time, or sometimes some teachers for gamification, they'll give students homework assignments, and instead of having them start at 100 and then they take points off, they have students start at 0, and the more things that like they do for the homework assignment, the more points they get. So a point system in the classroom is also another great example of gamification, but what we're going to talk about today is using Kahoot in the classroom. So Kahoot, we pulled this off of the website. Kahoot is a game-based learning platform, free for teachers, of awesome classroom superheroes where you play, learn, have fun, and celebrate together. Who's heard of Kahoot before? It's a pretty popular app, yeah.
Okay, cool.
People use it in classrooms all the time because it's free and easy to use. But basically, it's a form of assessment, or I guess you can teach students through it too. But I think it's mainly used for like review of content. But so what we're going to do today is we're going to teach you guys how to create your own Kahoot so you can know how to use it and learn it or use it in your future classrooms.
To add to that, Caitlin did say about assessment. You could definitely use it for that. I probably wouldn't in the classes that I'm in, or when I was student teaching last semester. It was mostly used as like they would have quizzes periodically. So this was used as to help reinforce what we've learned already in a way that's not like digging it into their heads, because it gets boring. Kids don't want to keep learning, or they don't want to listen, and this keeps them engaged. And you can add like competitiveness if you wanted to.
Add to that. Okay,
Yeah.
so in high school and like my classes, my teacher would do it as like the top 3 that one got like 10 or 15 bonus points on the test we were reviewing for. So I mean, you can use it as a way like to make them competitive, but also reward them and make sure everybody participates and not just a couple kids are like, oh, I'll just do it to be good.
Okay, so I gave you guys a sheet at the beginning. You could just type in the link that I put at the very top on step 1, the createkahoot.it/register. If you don't want to type all that out, you could literally just go to kahoot.com. I would give you the link on our slideshow, but I think that'll take too long, so I'm going to let you get to it. And then once you're there, which I think most of you guys are, right? Okay, go ahead and go up to sign up. And for our purpose, since we're going to be teachers, we're going to click as a teacher. If you would please sign up with Google, I think that's the easiest way to go about it. So if you just want to do that. Oh, somebody's already signed in, I guess, to the Google. It's all good. Just sign in with your Google if you would, because I want all of us to create one. So.
Oh, yeah, because I already have an account with you.
It's in there. It's fine.
It's going to take you to the same place
Yeah.
if you sign in.
So go ahead and sign in with your Gmail and get to this page. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes.
Which some of you might already have a Kahoot account, and if you do, you can just
It's
use
fine.
that one
It's
too.
the same page. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I'm just going to give you guys a second. Would you guys give me a hands up if you're done with it? Okay. A couple more minutes. Oh, and while we're at it, Kahoot is totally free, by the way. It's also great for a 1-to-1 ratio of iPads in the classroom. I think that's the best way to use it. So I feel like a con of it, if you don't have that in your classroom, I don't know if I would use it, to be honest. Okay. Is everyone good? Okay. So go ahead and click Create at the top right corner. And today we're just going to create a quiz, but you can see the options. You can do like a jumble or a survey if you wanted to, but we're going to do a quiz today. For the title, you could choose anything. I would just put technology for teachers if you wanted to. So that it's easier for you to find, you could put a hashtag in it. You could just put #ED if you wanted to. You can search through your library later on. You're more than welcome to include an image depending on what you're doing. Let's say you're doing math, I would add like a symbol of what you're learning and the standards or whatnot. Visibility, I would give it to everyone. That way you can share with your colleagues and also people around the world or like the US who wants to use, because it's like a huge library of Kahoots that you can get onto. And then you can also change the language if you wanted to. So if you have an ELL student, you can go ahead and do that. If you have credit resources, like you take information from someone else, go ahead and add it. Credentials are important. And then, let's see. I don't think I can actually type on this. I'm going to see if it'll let me just go. Okay, 1 second. I'm going to have to go type over there. Yeah, would you please? Yeah. At the very top, would you just put technology for teachers? Because it won't let me go on unless we write it. Once you guys are done typing that out, go ahead and click OK Go, and I'll meet you in just a second. What? And then I would just put ED, hashtag ED for ed. Education. And then I think it should let you go ahead at the OK Go at the very top. Yeah, cool. Maybe later. Okay, and now we're at the very beginning of our quiz. Go ahead and click Add a Question. And this is where we get started. You can add as many questions as you wanted to. So again, we're doing a review. You can add anything you want, as many as you want. So for my question, would you please add what is gamification for my question? And then you can do a time limit. What I really like about this is that this is where you can accommodate for your special ed students. If you have people that you have to consider, you can take away that time limit and it'll make it easier for them. You can add images if people are more visual. Instead of like a question, you can add an image because it's easier for them to see it than to read it. That could be for someone who has like a learning disability, reading disability maybe. And then answers down here. I'm not actually going to put the whole definition. Would you just put correct right there on answer A? And then when you want it to get the right answer, you have to click this little check mark on the side, and that's what will make it actually right. So that's the one that the kids will get correct. And then the other ones you just leave unchecked. Would you just write no, no, and no on those three? Making it nice and simple.
Wish I had a quiz that easy.
Me too. We don't need to add credit sources, it's all your girl Nina, so it's all good. And then go ahead and click next at the top. And that's your first question. We have a time limit on 20 seconds. You can always edit if you want to at the very top with that little orange one. You can delete it, change the time. And like I said, you can always add another question. I'm only doing one question today for the sake of time. So we would click save. And then this is where we get to it. You can go immediately to it, save it. You could just play it, edit it, or if you want to share it with your colleagues, let's say you're on a team of 5th grade, you can send it to everyone through an email. It's super easy. And then we're done. And there you go. You will have a library of the ones you create, so you can always come back to them the next year if you wanted to. But the super cool thing about Kahoot is I've never created one like on purpose. I always go to Discover page. And you can just find anything, math, science, social studies, anything. It's so cool. I used it for social studies, and they have just about anything. And they're like super appropriate, and they're mostly made by teachers. Yes?
Can you edit the ones that other people have made?
No, you cannot. You can only play them. Yeah, so that is that, yeah. But you can always go in and play it first before you show it to your students. So it just takes a little bit more. Do you guys have any questions about Kahoot? No? Okay. Let me go back to the... Okay.
So some of the things that people struggle with Kahoot is not being able to actually see it. They just get a blank screen. So that's due to having their settings being set on high. So if you're having that issue, you just go to reset your security settings to default, and it should just come back to normal. And then if you're not being able to have a full screen button, it's because you're using the Internet Explorer 9 and 10, and that does not support the ability to have a full screen button. So in order to fix that, you just need to update to Internet Explorer 11. Does anybody else have any questions about Kahoot?
And you know, like at schools, the internet's super flaky, so there will be times when you want to play Kahoot and you can't. So always be prepared, because a lot of times I was trying to use the internet and it didn't work. So yeah.
Okay, go back to D2L and get on the post test. And I mean, come on, who doesn't want to get a perfect score on their quizzes? So I'm going to go through this with you, and hopefully you know the answers to it. So, by show of hands, does any of y'all know what gamification is now? No? You want to do the test first?
Yeah, because we have to compare data.
Okay. All right. Y'all do the test first, and then I'll give you the answers.
Yeah, we have to compare it.
And then when you're done with that, just give me a show of hands so I can then go over the questions with you.
Kahoot is free, guys. You literally have to do nothing. I just want to emphasize that you don't have to do anything. You just look up the topic on Discover. It saves you a lot of time. It's free, which is very important for teachers.
Show of hands. Any of y'all done with it yet?
Do you have a question?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so, you know how Kahoot shows like the 4 different shapes? Did you guys read anything about like maybe working with special ed students and stuff? Where the question is in a different space than the answer, like the circle, the square, the triangle, the
It wouldn't let us manipulate that. I couldn't find a way to change that.
Yeah, I think that's just how
The platform
it
is.
is. Yeah.
like, what would you suggest as a solution? Maybe not so many answers?
Yes, I would probably maybe dim it down to 2. Because, I mean, my major is special ed, so, yeah, that could be confusing because you have to look on the screen and then you're also having to look on your device to answer the question. I would limit it to maybe, 2 answers, or do it where you might not have as many 20-something kids like a general ed classroom has. You have maybe 6 or 7, and you can individually work with those or do it as a group or have them paired up together with one iPad or so and be like, here, let's do this together and everything.
And no time limit. I
Yeah,
would
Yeah,
not
not
put a
just-
time
you
limit
can
on it.
edit the time
Yeah.
limit, and that would give them time to look at that and look at their screen that they have in their hands and give them time to figure out what they need to do.
And you would teach that process, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doing that. Thank you.
Okay, are we good to go over the answers now? Okay, so what is gamification?
Process of taking something that already exists and integrating game mechanics into it to motivate participation, engagement, and loyalty.
Awesome.
You
Yes.
listen.
Yes. The longest answer is probably the most correct answer. Let's, be honest. All right. When you're creating do you have to create every single Kahoot you used?
No,
No.
thank goodness.
Yes. They have an awesome library of a whole bunch that you can just use, or you can ask your colleague if they've already gotten one, if you can use it. Can Kahoot only be used for one subject? False. True. You can use it for whatever subject you want to do.
There's trivia on there too, just in case if you guys if you want to have fun at a party. We used it for trivia for Disney characters and stuff. So it can be
Yeah.
fun too. It doesn't have to be school related.
They have a bunch of stuff. Even if you wanted to use Kahoot as a classroom management strategy, if your class is just being crazy and you guys need to calm down for a little bit, they have any kind of thing on there that you can just search a quiz on something, and it doesn't even have to be content related. It can just be something
like
fun,
a brain break or something.
Yeah, and then they can play that for a little bit and kind of get back into learning mode.
All right. Can you share Kahoot with anybody?
Yes, just about anyone.
Yes. And then what is one benefit of using gamification in the classroom? What's y'all's opinion on that?
Kids can have fun.
Kids can have fun. That's a good one.
Perfect.
Anybody else? Huh? It's easy,
Easy
access.
access,
It's
yes.
free.
Yes. Anything else?
What's that E word that we've been talking about when kids are more inclined to pay attention?
Engage. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
And that's
Cool.
it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end. Oh, I'm not on the. Yeah.
Done. Thank you guys.